Alright everybody, what is going on? We have a new season of Battlefield here, so first off we're going to start off with Chaozu as always. Now, nobody should be struggling with Chaozu. By the way, if you are new to Battlefield, or if you just don't know this, whatever the first fight is, so you can see Chaozu here is extreme physical, importantly the physical part, right? Whatever typing the first fight is here, that's what typing the final fight is going to be, so you can kind of plan out ahead. So that means that for the final fight, we're going to be using STR, right? That's going to be our effective typing, essentially. So we want to save our STR units for then. So what I do for this first fight these days is I go ahead and then just use like the Ginyu Force team here for the first fight. If you guys don't have the Ginyu Force team farmed up, you should definitely do that. You know, you'll see I have the Dokkan Fest and like these banner units here, but that doesn't matter at all. I just bring them because they're like the best Ginyu Force units, but you can very easily get by just using like the complete free-to-play team. Chaozu is not very difficult here. So, again, I just use these guys to be able to save my full STR lineups for whenever I get to the final phase, right? So in the event that, let's say I go in with my super STR team and Broly is able to defeat them, I still have my full extreme STR lineup to use before I have to start just like throwing the trash can at them. I'm sure everybody's been there in Battlefield at some point, right? Where you fail in either the final fight or maybe like the third round or something, and your first two teams, like your first team doesn't go through, you fail. So you bring your backup team and you get like the worst possible RNG, and so like it dies immediately, and then you're just like throwing trash at them from like whatever you can spare, right? Like I'm sure everybody's been there at some point. So doing this is to help prevent that, right? So now we have our full lineups for the end. Next up here, we have Copy Vegeta. Again, I doubt anybody is struggling with this guy. We're going to be using AGL against him. Doesn't really matter if you use Super or Extreme. I typically use my Extreme lineups first because, generally speaking, they're worse. Now, for STR in particular, I actually think in general my STR lineup is just more cohesive. But anyway, so right here we need to run AGL, or yeah, we're going to run AGL against this guy. If you are struggling, notice that he is only immune to being stunned. You can attack lower him and you can seal him. Make sure you read these enemy traits and see what you can do to this guy. And then it is just kind of a, you know, making sure that you get good opening RNG. You know, of course, you can bring like 4 sealers and then they're all in the off rotations and you die immediately. That can definitely happen. For my leaders, I like to run these two. Zamasu gives Realm of God Key 3, which is fine, but more importantly, he gives Extreme Class Key 3 at 130% to stats, and then Metal Cooler here, he gives Wicked Bloodline at 170% and Extreme AGL 120%. So what that means is I can bring like these two characters right here, and they are both getting the full 170 from this guy and a 130 from this guy. And then this guy himself, you know, is giving a 170 to himself. I can bring Rose, he's giving the full 170 to him, and then also giving a 130 to everyone else. So I guess we'll bring Dr. Wheelo just for the memes here. Maybe save Turles in the event that we need to run an extreme team, because he does have extreme class as one of his secondary leader skills. Oh, I have intros on. Alright, there we go. That's fine. I'll just leave the intros and everything on for this video. You know, it's the nice thing about Battlefield, right, is that you get to use some units maybe that you haven't used in a while. So, you know, we'll take advantage of that right here and watch some animations that maybe we haven't seen in a while on the channel, or just maybe you guys haven't seen really at all. I mean, when was the last time we saw Boo's intro? Maybe the other day. I used Boo whenever I was doing, like, the 21 showcase against Fusion Zamasu, right? So we might have saw it there, maybe. I don't remember. But potentially that was, like, the last place that I played his intro. So, you know, that's fun. He just one-shots Copy Vegeta. Again, if you're having trouble with these first couple stages, really rethink your life. No. I mean, maybe, but, you know, make sure you're understanding, like, how to build teams and things like that before you hop into this. Battlefield isn't necessarily the hardest content out there. It's more of just a test of how long you've been playing and how many, like, and how much of the content you've been playing, right? Like, if you've been grinding up all the free-to-play units and, you know, saving your stones for good quality banners and things like that. Like, you should have a good roster to beat Battlefield, but it may take you some time to just build up a good amount of units to use in it. That's why they don't even let you access the mode immediately, right? Like, you have to be like level 150 or something, which isn't that high, but in the grand scheme of things, what they're trying to tell you is like, hey, you need to play the game a little bit before you hop in here. So, Frieza here, again, immune to being stunned, immune to attack lowering, but he can be sealed. So if you have any sealers and you're struggling with this guy, be sure to bring them. I'm just going to run Extreme Tech again. We're going to run Fusion Zamasu as one of my leaders because he leads Extreme Class 150, and then he has like 3 other leader skills. But I run Janemba as my secondary leader because he buffs just Extreme Class as well, and then Corroded Body and Mind, he's giving himself the 130, because I don't think anyone else here is on Corroded Body and Mind. I like to bring Sin because he Rainbow Orb changes, which is really nice, because if you look at Extreme Tech here, it's just all over the place in terms of what units are doing. I like to bring the androids. 1, they do seal, so we'll be able to seal Frieza, and 2, they have their active skill. Their active skill is going to be good in Battlefield pretty much forever. I like to bring this unit because they're a great linking partner for the Fusion Zamasu, and they're just really powerful for this type of content. For the last couple units, it really doesn't matter too much who you bring here. You know, this guy's free to play. I'm sure most people don't have the 50% supports. I mean, they haven't been around in the game for years, so at this point, it's very rare that people have them. But pretty much any of these other options are going to be good for you, and you can probably just fill in the last 2 slots as needed. Like, we could probably just use a Cyberman here if we had to, but I'll bring this cell for the support, just because why not, right? Let's see what we have here. Again, whenever you're building these teams, it's important to bring, like, your strongest units, but I'd say, like, prioritizing cohesion can also be very important. So having units like Sin around who are going to provide orbs and stuff like that, or characters like Cell who are going to give support and also provide orbs, characters like that are going to be really valuable for you in Battlefield. Just because a lot of the times you'll have a team like this where it's like just a hodgepodge of different characters and links, especially on these extreme typing teams. That's the kind of the nice thing about super class teams, is that in general they just work well together. Like for super physical, as an example, I like to run a pure and hybrid Saiyans team with like God Goku as my leader, or for Int, I like to run Bond of Parent and Child with Vegeta and Trunks as my main leader, right? And you can kind of just build teams around that idea and build just much more cohesive teams. Whereas, like, Extreme Tech here, it's like, we got androids, we got shadow dragons, we've got gods. Like, we just have this hodgepodge of just this melting pot of units. So having units like Sin around who Rainbow Orb change are going to be really helpful. Okay, next up we have Tapion. Again, immune to being stunned, immune to being attack lowered, but you can still seal him. So you just gotta kind of look at what you can't do to him, and then just ascertain what you can do to him, right? So we're gonna be using Extreme Physical. A little early to be busting out the androids, but we'll go ahead and bring them out. I'll probably run Cooler as my leader, and maybe... What's Cell lead? Is he 120%? Yeah, we'll run Cell as the other leader. We'll bring the androids. The androids are a good leader if you guys have them, but they're only 100% to Extreme Physical, whereas Cell here is 120%. Not that that extra 20% is really going to matter much, but, you know, just because it's easier. Sometimes I like running Broly as my leader and doing movie bosses in full power, just because there's a lot of movie bosses here. But really, it's not going to matter too much. Just kind of bring your best Extreme Physical characters here. Again, if you're struggling, try to bring as many sealers as possible. You know, a lot of these units, like my Extreme Physical lineup, it hasn't changed in years. I mean, these have been the same characters that I've been using, like, pretty much since each of them came out, right? So, what do we want to do here? Probably just leave the rotations like this. Of course, the androids, the LR androids who just Easy A'd, you know, I specifically held off on the Battlefield video until their Easy A came out so that I could show them in here, but there they are in slot 7, and, like, definitely we're not making it to turn 3 in this fight. I believe Tapion does lower attack and defense, so... Oh, no, just attack, okay. Well, still... I still don't think we're gonna make it to turn 3 to be able to see the androids, but maybe. We'll see, we'll see. Generally speaking, a good indicator of how good your Battlefield teams are is how much HP they have. So you can see here we're at 552k HP. Like, that's definitely, like, the sign of a good Battlefield team, right? You start pushing up into these 500, 600 range HP teams, and it's like, okay, now you got a really solid lineup. And remember, too, you need to pay attention to leader skills. Some people just pick, like, 7 physical characters and not really think about it too much. The first 2 characters that you pick are going to be your leaders for the run. So you need to make sure that they are, you know, leading your other characters, right? Okay, so final boss of level 3 is always this GT Kid Goku, at least in this, like, iteration of Battlefield. We should get the next update in, like, February? January? It'll be coming up soon. Let's see, grants immunity to being stunned, attack lowering, so we have to seal him as well, and we're going to be using Int. So let's go ahead and bust out Extreme Int. Extreme Int is very powerful. I like to run this Int Goku Black as my leader. Even though his EZA is not very good for red zone content, he's still a very good Battlefield leader with Time Travelers as his leader skill and Extreme Int as his 120%. You guys can see here, right, if I do Time Travelers and I just click that checkbox wherever it is. Time Travelers, where are you? There you are. You can see that there are a lot of Time Travelers here, so I like to run Cell as my secondary leader because he gives, you know, himself the full 180% buff and 4 key, but he's giving everyone else 3 key 130, which is good. He really helps himself with the extra key. And then really I just kind of fill it in with these other Time Traveler units is what I typically do. But of course, you know, there's other Extreme Int options. Like we could bring Piccolo Jr. if I really thought we needed to. You know, I could like sub out Garlic Jr. for him or something. But I'll just bring Garlic Jr. for the support. We can hop in here. Typically, you see Int Majin Vegeta there. It's because sometimes I like to run him on my... I'll call it my Super Int team. But I mentioned earlier that I like to run a Bond of Parent and Child team. That's why I bring him. All right, well, we win. We got this rotation right here, so we win. And plus, we have support from Toa. So, yeah, that is interesting. What is this guy's defense? It doesn't really matter, 191, but you can see we have 4 links active there. I'm still trying to get into the habit of just tapping on the characters. So, bear with me for the next year and a half while I get used to that. You know, I've been playing Dokkan for many, many years, and they go and change the UI on me. I have not decided if I'm a huge fan yet. Some things I really don't like whenever you go to pick a character for a team now, I can understand the appeal to like new players who don't know the characters having like the buff up icon. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, where you like hop in and it shows you like the effective character and they have like a gold outline and like a arrow on the left side of them pointing up. If you may have seen it in like the EZA video that I did, right? Not really a huge fan of that, just because I think it looks really crowded, if that makes sense. Like, maybe if it was like a console game or something like that, and things were a bit more spaced out and large, and, like, not just shoved together on my tiny phone screen, maybe I would like it more. But, like, as it is in-game, I just look at my phone screen, and it feels like Chain Battle. Oh my goodness, 14.5 million from Goku Black. Bye, Kid Goku, or GT Goku, whatever. But, like, it feels really crowded, and my boomer eyes, like, don't like the shiny things, you know. Like I really appreciate the very like dull look of things sometimes. Oh, almost getting done. So yeah, 16, 17, and 18, I will get a video out on them today. For you guys, it'll be today. For me, it's yesterday for you. So I'm recording this on Monday. I couldn't record yesterday because of the maintenance, so I'm recording it now. Okay, Gohan right here. I like to run Trunks as one of my leaders, and then Goku here. Goku is a sealer. This Gohan can be sealed. I think everybody in Phase 3 right here can be sealed, so be sure to take advantage of that. You could alternatively run like an Earthbred Fighter setup. You just can't bring like Vegito, right? Or any, like you can't bring like Vegito, you can't bring Vegeta, you can't bring like these duo units. So I typically don't run like an Earthbred Fighter setup, but you could. You just have to sub out your lineup a little bit. I always bring Tech Caulifla, just because you don't know when there's going to be a boss that you just really want to have a character that dodges. Like, I know some people always struggle with the Broly at the end. If you have Tech Caulifla, bring her. It's like she may not do the most damage or any damage, but she has a 100% dodge chance against that Broly, so you can always kind of play around it like that. Let's bring this Vegeta for the support. We'll bring Vegito, and we'll end with... it doesn't really matter. We'll just bring these guys for the funsies. Okay, but yeah, the androids, so it'll be today's Tuesday, I'm sorry. Today's Tuesday, I couldn't record on Monday because of the maintenance, so, what I will do is, this video will come out on Wednesday. My brain is dying. So on Wednesday, we'll have this Battlefield video in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I'll have a couple, Goku Black, or not Goku Black. Well, kind of. We'll have the androids versus the future Saga Red Zones, so like Goku Black, and maybe like Fusion Zamasu, or Fusion Zamasu and like the Goku Black and Zamasu fight. So that's the plan. Currently, I got up tonight, again, since I had to work all day, and then, you know, maintenance was last night, and I wasn't going to stay up until 2 a.m. to record, so, because you never know these days, like, with, maintenance, you never know when you're like, all right, I stayed up until the maintenance is over, and they're like, we're extending it for another 8 days, and you're like, okay, maintenance, thank you. So I don't stay up for those anymore, I just go to sleep. So I didn't get to put out my 200% showcase for the androids until this afternoon, but they are a very, very good unit. That wasn't me, like, disrespecting them. That was just, I had to work all day, and then I got home, and my dog barfed on the carpet, so I had to clean that up, so that's the reason for that delay.
そろそろ全開でいくかな。言っとくがおめえなんかに天下は取らせねえからな。
So anyway, if you guys haven't seen my 16, 17, and 18 showcase yet, definitely check that out. There's a little Easter egg in the thumbnail for the more observant of you. I guess now that I'm telling you, though, I've just... Yeah, sometimes I put little... Sometimes, not always. I put little Easter eggs in my thumbnails just to see if people will, like, notice them. You know, back before I just got lazy with thumbnails, you know, I used to kind of make them very creatively. I used to, like, actually do joke thumbnails. But these days, since I decided to just make a bunch of templates for them during busy season, I'm just kind of like, whoa. Like, it's not that I don't want to go back to funny thumbnails, it's that I think people, like, in general, the videos do better with these real thumbnails, and I already have the templates made, so it's just easy to drop in, like, the HD PNGs and go from there, right? So yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, but occasionally I still try to slip in a little joke here and there. So if you're looking at my androids thumbnail, you know, see if you can see it. So far, I know one person has seen it, but you know, let me know. Let me know if anybody else spots it in there. I mean, first of all, I mean, I don't expect anyone to actually be 17 minutes into this video. There's always a few people, right? That are just like major troopers. They sit here and watch all of my videos, which shout out to you guys. You guys are actually insane people, though, for listening to me drone on for hours at this point, right? Because you've seen so many of my videos. But you know, those people are probably the ones that have actually seen the thumbnail and you got it. But again, you know, if you haven't seen it, go see if you can spot the little Easter egg. Okay, so physical here against Bojack again. Bojack can be sealed. You can see he's immune to stun, immune to attack lowering. I always run God Goku. If you're wondering when God Goku will return on Global, I would say next he's probably going to return on March 18th for Saiyan Day. I think that's going to be his next arrival. So hopefully you guys picked him up with coins whenever he was back on the Halloween banner. I can't remember if I did a Who Should You Get with Coins video, but I think I did. Or I at least did like a Should You Summon, and I think I might have talked about it in there. For my secondary leader, I like to run these guys because they do lead Fusion for Key 180, so that's going to hit themselves and this unit right here, so it kind of buffs them up a little bit. And then they do lead 120% to physical or whatever. We can bring this unit. I like to bring Kid Goku for the orb changing. Trunks does a lot of attacks, so I can bring him. And then I like to bring Bardock because Bardock does seal. And then he's also really good in Battlefield because he gives support and he guards, right? And he gets extra defensive buffs whenever he does, so Bardock is a great unit to bring here, especially if you guys have done his EZA, obviously, right? There's a lot of, like, Battlefield, I was kind of mentioning this in the beginning, right, how Battlefield is like a true test of your box. Battlefield really does reward the players who are, like, grinding these free-to-play units. They're grinding up the sub-EZAs, things like that, which I know a lot of people don't want to do because they just see it, they get disinterested, they're like, I'm never going to use the EZA, you know, sub-EZA Bardocks, right? So they just don't ever farm those characters up. But then you get to Battlefield where it's just a true, you know, depth test, like, you know, it's like how deep is your box, right? That's really what they're testing you here is like, do you have, however many it takes, what is it, 70? It's like, do you have 70 characters that can come into this event and take it on? And, you know, they give you a little bit of leeway with, like, the extra 112 that you can bring. So if you know that there's any typing that you have that's particularly weak, make sure you're really loading up on those, you know. If you have, like, a really strong typing, just bring the 7 characters that you know that can get it done, right? For, like, you know, Super AGL or Extreme AGL, right? Like, if you know that your Super AGL and your Super Physical is, like, tight, and that team is tight, like, don't bring a bunch of extra units to help out those typings. Just bring your 7 units that you're going to run on that team, and then for your extra characters, really pump it into those typings that you think are going to be weaker and need more help. And kind of, like, strategize, like, okay, this is going to be my first wave. This is going to be my second wave. You know, do I have characters that can handle the second wave? Things like that, right? That'll really help you out in Battlefield. I'd say, you know, this is definitely going to be a difficult event for new players, but as you play, it's going to get a lot easier. Okay, so for this, we're going to bring these guys, obviously, as our main leader, and then we'll bring Gohan as our secondary, because I think more characters fall onto Kamehameha than Goku's family. Let's go ahead and bring Limit Breaker Vegito and the Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I like to bring this guy for the orb changing, and then we can just bring, like, Gohan, and it really doesn't matter who the last unit is, so I guess I'll bring just Carnival Goku. That should be fine. And let's go ahead and hop in here. Very nice. I could have brought in Blue Gogeta, but it really doesn't matter, right? I don't think Vegeta will have his... Oh. Playtime is over. Alright, Vegeta. So here he is. I don't think he has his full extra parts of his passive. Like, doesn't he get something if there's a certain type of whatever? Entrance animation upon character's entry, blah, 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 blah. Plus an additional 100% attack and defense. Great chance of launching an additional super attack when there's another Giant 8 Power crossover category ally attacking the same turn. Okay, we have that. Or a Giant 8 Power or crossover category enemy. Chance of performing a critical hit plus 40% and reduces damage received by 30% when all allies in the turn are Giant 8 Power or crossover. So we don't have that active. We do have one other Giant 8 Power, though, and that's this guy. So that worked out. I think Vegito here is just going to, like, take these guys out. But let's find out, right? We do have Saiyan Roar active, which is very nice. Got some good orb changing here from... the Goku, but I'm pretty sure we're just gonna win here. The Heroes units are very good, and this Vegito, you know, he's like the only Heroes unit that I was like, yeah, well, him and Toa. Toa's just a nice support, but I think she's always been on my Extreme Int lineup. But yeah, this guy, I was like, listen, even without his full, like, passive up, I have to have him on the team. He's just too good to ignore and not just, you know, bring on the team, obviously, so. You can see he definitely did very well here. This Gotenk stood no shot against us. We just completely obliterated this kid. Here's the seal coming in, assuming that we don't just kill Gotenks immediately with this. Alright, well, that was pretty easy. This Goku, right? I'm not really a huge fan of him, that Spirit Bomb Goku at the end there. Yeah, they could definitely give us a new character from that 13 movie. I would say he's probably, like, the most underwhelming Yellow Coin LR EZA of the year. But he's still going to be, like, eternally good in Battlefield just because he's got good stats, he's got the Rainbow Orb changing, and he's got the seal and the attack lowering, so... Alright, next up we have Super Int. Again, I like to run Bond of Parent and Child, and Future, like their team. Now, a lot of people, and sometimes me in the past, they like to run this guy as their secondary leader because he leads Pure and Hybrid Saiyans. You're like, oh, duh, easy, you know, bring him as our secondary leader. But, because Vegeta and Trunks are a Pure and Hybrid Saiyan in the card, they are on neither category. So we can't run God Goku as our secondary leader. So typically I just do this guy. It's not really a big deal whether I bring him or not, but he's on Bond of Parent and Child, Goku's on Bond of Parent and Child, he's on Bond of Parent and Child, like, she supports Bond of Parent and Child, he's good in here, and then the last character, it really doesn't matter. Super Int is pretty tight. Remember that this guy is getting an EZA on JP in, like, 2 months or something, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Let's bring him just for the funsies. I mean, it's not confirmed that he's getting an EZA, but the 7th anniversary, we EZA'd the 3rd and 4th anniversary LRs. The 8th anniversary, we EZA'd the... the 8th anniversary, we EZA'd the 5th anniversary LRs, so it makes sense during the 9th anniversary to EZA the 6th anniversary LRs, right? I think we can just leave it like this. Alright, let's see, we're missing prepared for battles. Let's just do that instead. Let's grab all those. Very nice. Grab all of these with Vegeta. I'd say what I want from this guy's EZA right here is, at minimal, I want him to, like, massively raise defense or something on his 18 key and, like, greatly raise it on his 12 key. And then in his passive, I want him to get 40% damage reduction start of turn and build up this additional 30%. Like, if they want to have him build up the 30% still and have it reset per turn, that's not fine, but it would be okay if he had a baseline 40% here instead. That way he built up to 70% each turn. That'd be much better. Because then it's like, okay, you know, those first couple hits may hurt, but once you have them all built up and after he super attacks, he's just going to be a wall. And then I would say just give him like 5 key at the start of turn. If you want to make sure that he still builds up key with attacks, that's fine. But just give him, like, I don't know, 6 key at the start of turn or something, right? Those are, like, the main things that I would want to see from this guy. Crazy that he's coming up on an EZA, actually. Like, actually, it feels like just last year that I summoned for this guy. Like, it does not feel like it's been almost 3 years. You know, whenever he came out on JP, that was definitely a very interesting point in my life. A lot of stuff going on at that point. It was a very, very interesting time. So those units, those 6th anniversary units will always hold like a special place for me just because it's, you know, it's very interesting, right? If you know, you know, but it's okay. All right, Vegeta here. Again, their attack stats aren't too crazy. These 6th anniversary LRs, like they started showing their age. I mean, Red Zone really kind of took them out. UI Goku's been able to hang on a little bit longer because of his dodge chance. Whereas this Vegeta, I mean, we got some good footage of this Vegeta during the 8th anniversary, right? Like, I did those kind of like banner showcases where I, you know, took a peek at all the units that were featured on the banner. Because I needed videos, right? I was going out of town for vacation, and I needed to put up a lot of videos. So I showcased all the featured characters, like, hey, you summoned, and maybe you didn't get the featured unit, but you got this guy. Is there any value in him? And we took him into Bojack, right? And he had value, so... What was I saying? I lost track of my thoughts. There's something about Vegeta. I don't remember what it was. It's gone. I'll never remember. If I watch this video back, I might remember. You know, somebody leave a timestamp for me, and if you want me to continue my thought there, I will. It's gone. It's gone. Do not remember what it was. But anyway, here, Vegeta and Trunks should bring us home pretty easily. Not much here to talk about. Let's see, what were we talking about? 8th anniversary. Dude, I don't... Oh! I took him against Bojack, and we had some success in there, and he looked really good. So, I mean, it's situational if you can have any usage for him. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, he's old at this point. We're not expecting much out of any 2-year-old character. The ones that, you know, we do have use out of still are just very special or have, like, gimmick mechanics. Okay, so here we are finally at the final phase. You can see I have 20 STR characters to use against this guy. I'm just going to start off with Extreme STR and see how it goes. Again, I do think that this is the tighter setup because I just run, like, a Terrifying Conquerors, you know, setup here. So we're going to run this and see how it goes. You can see 662k HP, just running a bunch of Terrifying Conquerors. You know, some of these are free-to-play units, some of these are old units, some of these are banner units. So we're going to hop in here and see what we can do. We'll just leave Broly in slot 1 right here. Remember, Frieza gets 3 key whenever he attacks in slot 1. If it's a superclass enemy, he gets another 3, but just baseline, he does get 3 key. And then I'll give all of these orbs here to Turles, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Then we'll save the STR for Cooler next turn. We'll also have Cooler's intro animation. That'll be the last thing we probably get in the video. Now, Broly can be sealed, and I don't think we have any sealers on the team. He can also be attack debuffed. We do have several attack debuffers on the team. Let's see. Frieza's debuffing, Cooler's debuffing, the LR Cooler's debuffing. I can't remember if the STR Turles is debuffing. I don't think he is. All right, Cooler. Cooler could give us one more here. He doesn't. Okay. This will probably do some damage to us, but it won't kill us. All my villains are level 10 links. I mean, we're on like a real leader for them. Yeah, 273. I mean, that's definitely damage, but it's not like a death blow yet. Let's see. Turles is coming in here. We're doing the Calamity Blaster. Very nice. Double super is very good. My Turles is finally rainbowed. I forgot when exactly I got him rainbowed, but it is very recently. Okay, we got Cooler out here now, everybody. Yeah, this honestly, this is probably fine for the rotation. We can give all these to Frieza. We can do this for Cooler, and then we can just give Bojack a super attack here. If there's a super attack, I think it'll be on Cooler in the middle. Typically, this Broly, he goes AoE super normal, like AoE super normal. That's like all this guy ever does, so I would be very surprised if the super is not in the middle here. Frieza coming in with the 9.3, or it was like 9.29, but basically 9.3 million attack stat here. 14 million crit, very nice. And then Cooler's going to come in here with his barrage of attacks. Remember, he can do like 1 billion attacks here on his first turn, so feel free, Monsieur Cooler. Alright, bunch of normals, that's okay. We need supers, though, for the attack lowering. Very nice. That also gets us in a defense raise, right, on his super attack effect. So we'll take those. We'll take the attack lowering and the defense raise. It also builds up more of his passive. Very nice, Cooler. Feel free to give us some crits, buddy. I do have like a mostly offensive build on this Cooler, so I would love for him to show out for us. Yep, give us one more. All right, we're out of here. This is why I like Extreme STR, right? It's like you got a lot of debuffers. It's just a very tight team. Everybody links well. There's a bunch of supports, and you can just let Big Daddy go to work here. So there we go. Didn't even have to bust out Super STR. If you're wondering who I typically use for that, it's like Bulma, Future Gohan, LR Vegeta, the Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, free-to-play LR, right? Like, it's nothing too crazy that I use for Super STR. I can hop back in real quick and just kind of show you my lineup for it if I do Super STR. These are kind of the units that I have selected. You could bring, like, Beerus Whis, 1000-Day Goku. UI Goku's a solid option. He's probably coming up on an Easy A in the next 6 months. You know, Blue Kaioken Goku's solid. This Namek Goku is solid. Honestly, this guy's solid in here because he gets his extra buff whenever he guards. Because if you're using him type advantage, that counts as guarding, so he gets his extra buffs, which is very nice. This Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta can be great in here if you want to bring him. This guy can be good in here, again, because he gets his guard buffs. This guy can be really solid in here as long as he's not getting supered. So you have plenty of options here to bring for Super STR. I don't think you guys should be having any issues here. But if you are, you know, just, I don't know what to tell you. Just make sure that you have your units link leveled, you're investing orbs into them, you're farming up super attack levels when you can, you're using Kais when you have to. I mean, even this unit, right, can be really good against Broly, so they're probably coming up on an Easy A next year for Worldwide. That's my guess for them, is Easy A next year for Worldwide. But we'll see, we'll see. Alright, so anyway, that's Battlefield. Let's go ahead and collect our rewards. I did not see if they added a new copy of Hachiak or not. I guess I can go ahead and scout that out really quickly. We can see if they added a new Hachiak or anything like that. Anything else in here that I need to buy? No new Hachiak at the moment. Okay. We're still a couple copies away from rainbowing him, I believe, so... but I should be ready to go as soon as they drop the copies of him, right? Which is very nice. Nothing to get here. Yellow coin banner. What is this from? I guess they finally added Super Boo. Or maybe Super Boo was already added. What yellow? Oh, it's because of this, right? Yeah, don't summon on this. This is actually terrible. There's only 3 featured characters, right? Yeah, I mean, your chances of getting them is pretty high, and they are a good LR, but this is just not worth it. Do not summon on this, please. I am begging you not to summon on that. If you're going to summon on anything right now, keep summoning on this. If you already have Vegito, then be summoning on this to try to get this Vegito. If you've already got both, I don't know, go back to this one and summon for dupes or something. I don't know. But like this banner and this banner have the most value up right now. The Vegetos are just absolute killers, and they're good for chain battle. I still need to do a video on this. I'm in top 1%, but I have not had good luck with my supports. I want to get like a really good lineup for the video so that I can talk about it. But every time I hop in here, the lineups are just abysmal. I guess just real quick, while I'm talking about this, video is already 35 minutes, so it doesn't matter. But while I'm talking about it, oh, right here, perfect. Yeah, Piccolo. Piccolo posts charts on his Twitter. You guys should check him out. I retweet his stuff all the time, so if you follow me, you probably see like his tweets pop up every now and then if you don't follow him yourself. But he does have a chain battle Discord that you can join and, you know, get help, see his charts, everything like that. So definitely check him out. You can see right there in his profile, he has a link to the Discord server. So check that out. And again, he posts all these updates so you can see everything, but we'll go over this in its own video. I will say, though, that the Vegetos are what you want to be looking for in this one. I guess, like, prioritize the Vegetos, and then you want, like, the 21s after that. Like, that's all. Like, your best setups are going to have 4 Vegetos, and then, like, 2 21s is you're going to be your best setup. And then for the extreme side, you want all Toas. Now, if you're like, oh, I'm free to play, what do I do? It's like, well, to be fair, this unit right here, this 21, she's like an A-level attacker, and I've seen people get like super high scores with her, and she's free to play. This Toa right here is an S, and she's free to play. So then it just comes down to here, and you could probably just use like a second copy of her or something and still get a high score. But, I mean, the Heroes banners are still up, and they're probably the most valuable banners that are going to be out on Global until, like, March. So if you wanted to summon for Vegeto, I'd say go for it. Yeah, it's guaranteed SSR. Like, you might as well, right? Like, I legit, I have 2 rainbowed copies of Vegeto because I summoned on this banner, right? Like, it's not hard to pull this guy, so. Anyway, we'll talk about this in its own video at some point this week. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out through this entire video if you made it all the way to the end. Again, sorry it's a longer video, but it's Battlefield, right? So, thank you guys again. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and I'll catch you guys next time.